So something else with Miles is that there was a period after 1975 where he got into such a bad state that he didn't play the trumpet for 5 years, from 1975 to 1980. He didn't pick it up once, and then in the end it was almost basically a 6-year period where he didn't play at all. And the interesting thing about that is that he only lived till he was about 65, which we would say he died young nowadays. And so the amount that he was able to achieve in those years was astronomical in terms of popular influence on musical innovation. And he still took 6 years off. It kind of tells you how long a career is, So Coltrane, he did a 10 to 15-year apprenticeship and died at 40, but created some of the greatest music ever. So, this kind of tip of the iceberg moment can happen in quite a quick succession, but it's also a very long career that you've got a lot of time to kind of do lots of different things, take breaks. My thought of taking 6 years off would be, oh my God, that's it, it's done,
But you see this, we see the same thing. A really nice parallel here, mate, is Jordan and taking time off to play baseball. He was like burnt out of basketball.
That's a sports career. It's even shorter.
Yeah, correct. And he took those years off to play baseball, but it actually rekindled this fire, and it almost like made him realize how much he loved basketball. And I suspect there's a similarity there for Miles. And it also gives us this opportunity for a different perspective, because he's almost like seeing the world through the trumpet. And then it gave him a chance to see the world without the trumpet. Although I think heroin probably played a big role throughout that period of time as well, mate.
Definitely. So he wasn't seeing much besides the inside of his apartment, I don't think. But so let me ask you, I mean, you've kind of taken a break from probably the traditional career path this year. How's it affected your life?
Interesting. So the biggest thing for me, mate, out of all of this is the race that you feel in is a self-perpetuated race to some degree. And I think and what I mean here is like that corporate race. And so the really pursuing Monday to Friday, Saturday and or Sunday, depending on how much you work, there's other things outside of that. And so I think that was a big illumination for me, and that there is a slower time that can be found, which I think is, it's not something you want to spend a lot of time there, but it's allowed. The big thing for me was jumping out of the safety net, if you will. There's like a safety net associated with a secure job. And I think jumping outside of that safety net, you realize that you haven't actually hit the ground, or the safety net wasn't even necessarily there, and you haven't hit the ground and perished. I think there's opportunity, and you start to see some of that opportunity and start to grasp some of that opportunity. I wouldn't suggest that people just get up and quit their jobs and go and do that. But I think what's to be gleaned is that there's a lot of other things happening around you. And so just as Davis pulling back from the trumpet or Jordan pulling back from the basketball, you kind of realize how much is out there.
So has it changed your perspective of time?
Yes, to some degree. I'm trying to kind of frame myself in that perspective at the moment. So I think there's an idea of slower time, but at the same time, I'm very much in the work pace now. So it's a little bit hard to grasp. But I think if you go on extended travel, I think extended travel is a great way to look at this idea of slow time. And I'm not talking like traveling for 3 weeks here or, something like that. I'm talking many, many months of traveling, and everything settles. As soon as I started working, as soon as I left the working life and we started by traveling, mate, for the first 3 months, it took me 2 months to unwind, or 2 months to kind of slow down. And then it wasn't until that, third or even fourth month that I was like, and you start to see what's happening, see things going on. And
it's interesting.
There's something really powerful in that. And I think this is one thing I recommend is for certainly high school students or post-university students, that they should take a gap year and travel and go and do things. Obviously a little bit hard at the moment, but there's also no reason why you can't travel in your own country or go and explore other things.
Unless you live in Victoria.
Unless you live in Victoria. Maybe soon to be not, but
I think that we'll be out of jail soon. So, wow, it's a great insight. I think something that struck me, if I can comment on your situation, is that by slowing down,
I'm not going to stop you, mate.
Oh, you can edit it out later. Is that by slowing down, you've made some decisions that have been really impactful decisions that if you hadn't stopped, you wouldn't have made those. So it's been a very ineffective period, because much like Miles and Coltrane, they created 1 or 2 albums that changed the world. For your life, there may be 1 or 2 decisions that you come to that changed the trajectory in a positive way, that you'll go back and go, oh, wow. If I appreciate
you condensing my 5-minute ramblings into one sentence, Lockie. You're good at that.
No worries.
So it's 100%. That perspective of slow time allows you to make more impactful decisions, I think. It gives you time to think about the fact that there is even a decision that you could make, I think.